Nakami's been trying really hard to level up his astrophotography skill, but it's going at a very slow pace, and he's getting a little frustrated by it, and by a little, I mean he's getting quite frustrated by it. And things just kept getting more and more dour as he finds out that he can't take his camera with him to the summer camp, and then the opportunity that he is going to be able to get taking a picture at the beach has just kind of been dimmed as the rain continues to pour. And the breaking point was when he got lectured by the teacher, who gave him some very basic tips on how to sleep, but this is not the sort of tip that would help him because, you know, man's suffering from insomnia out here, and he got very upset at the teacher talking about how, you know, if a healthy person can't get a good night's rest, then it's a sign that they're messed up somehow. You know, so Hakui is inadvertently calling Isaki a messed up person, and Nakami ain't gonna take that lying down, so he just yells out that this man is an asshole. So he's not on good terms with his teacher at the current moment. But as he breaks down and tells Isaki that there's no point in trying to be optimistic anymore, here we have Isaki, who goes and says, hey, keep your chin up, and if things do go well, if the clouds do clear up, then the both of us are going to meet on the beach, you know? So it's very nice. I really like that. Here's Isaki being the... I was gonna say, here she is being the sun that's peeking behind the rainy clouds and all that, but, you know, maybe if I was writing that out, I'd be able to write it a bit better than the way that I'm saying it right now, but... Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the content, remember to leave this video a like and subscribe if you haven't. And if you didn't like the content, dislike the video and we'll be on our way. Let's get started. I really like those little, I was gonna say light particles, but it's probably just dust. Oh, man's got some intense eye bags under him. Still cloudy, but hey, there's still a chance that it's going to clear up. You've got hours ahead of you. Does his dad not have like a fucking room on his own? We saw like a pre-packaged lunch and then a beer of some Asahi beer there. Did he take the lunchbox with him? I can't remember. Because I know that last time he made like 2 lunches. One for him and one for his dad, I assume. Chirihama. What does that mean? 100% pure water? Potency for what? Oh, don't be such a fucking Debbie Downer. God, you're gonna be here for the next, I don't know how many fucking days, so you might as well just shut the fuck up, Kani. Oh my god, 3 whole days! What, you think your arm's gonna get all beefy within 3 days of doing that? Man's just trying to fucking sleep, bro. He's so trying. Dude, if somebody's putting on a fucking sleeping mask, like... My guy, he's just trying to fucking nap. God, let me tell you, nothing gives me a bigger rage than someone being a giant fucking Debbie Downer on a fucking trip that everybody has to go to. You're not the only one suffering! I love that he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt. Holy shit, alright, those pine cones are like... Oh. Alright, those pine cones fucking hurt. that tent's gonna fucking fall later on. Wow. Damn, look at his fucking cutting skills. Who's doing that? Is that you, No? You guys don't have peelers? Well, I mean, I guess if you just, you know, if you're good with a fucking knife, sure. And they're so tiny. Dude, that potato is just gonna melt into the curry. It's gonna become one with the curry. Okay, you're gonna... Alright, it's supposed to be a little bit more steady. It opened a hole in your apron. What have you guys been doing other than throwing pine cones at each other? What? That curry's gonna be bland as fuck! Did he even do anything? Just one bite. Dude, all I'm thinking about is Persona 4. The camping trip. Just the amount of cringe that goes through it. Relatable. Can't relate. Alcohol. Yeah. He's drinking some fucking sake out here, dude. This man's already knocked out. He keeps on trying to get him in here. Man just wants to sleep. Ah, he got caught. An hour in front of our tent. Well. God, he's in such a rowdy fucking group, dude. Oh god, they're all fucking snoring too. Oh, dude, Oh yeah, and they gotta do the fucking jog too, dude. He's just gonna fucking faint during this whole time. During this time, I swear. He doesn't have sleep. Not only is he going to faint, he's going to throw up. They're making a giant crab. No, the sand art! Well, if you guys didn't put it correctly, you know, if you guys didn't... sort of pills you'd taken, other than it potentially could be sleeping pills, but you know, you never know. Oh, dude, sleeping under a tent? I mean, it still wouldn't work anyways, but like... honestly, I'd just choke all those boys. It's not weird. Oh no, he's taking his teacher's words to heart! Oh, the rain stopped. Oh, the sky cleared up and everything. Damn, dude, these fucking clouds move fast. It was windy, actually, so yeah, the clouds were moving fast. Well, hopefully you don't fucking get caught by the teacher. It's 1 AM, so I don't know. He sees footsteps. Oh. Hell yeah, dude. Oh, fist bump. Oh. It's out in the forest too, so like there's no light pollution or anything. I think it's the first time he's smiled since this since the summer camp, huh? Damn, dude, everybody's knocked out except for It's a good photo op! Oh, it's like you guys are standing on stars? God, this is some Final Fantasy X shit right there. Somebody wakes up from all this. A good thing all the teachers are fucking drunk. Ooh. All the notes that he's been writing. So look, all those fucking notes you've been taking in the previous episode. 2 hours, Jesus Christ. Are y'all just gonna fucking fall asleep on the beach? Oh, wow. Wow! We should just cut him. Wow. With your mother? Damn, dude, look at those hands. You can't sleep at night. Oh, it reminds... I was like, it reminds you of the hospital. Wow, look at them fucking being honest with each other. Oh. Since she wants to... At first I was just like, is he just grabbing her bun? He couldn't breathe. God, that's gonna fuck up your neck. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, he's aware now, so... So, like, he's gonna wake up before, like... you know, before some fucking teacher comes and, like, have you guys been copulating out here? Oh, it's 5 o'clock. I know it's summer, but, like, you think it was pretty cold? What was the temperature out here? Mm-hmm. Look at all this evidence of all the footsteps and the tripod. I was thinking he's holding on to the camera. We'll lose this opportunity, come on! I mean, you're photogenic. Damn, holy shit. Oh, thank you, Ocean, for erasing the evidence for him. Alright, that was a very nice episode. I really enjoyed that. Alright, what do we got out of this, children? The thing that we've got out in this episode is that Kurashiki-sensei is a heavy drinker. Alright, that's the end. Sick. Alright, well, I'll go write my notes and we will be right back to the center. You know, in this part where they're all celebrating the first day, you know, being problem free and all that, and they're not drinking alcohol until like the later day or the later night, and you can't see what Kurashiki is holding until like the next scene, right, where they're all cheering. And then you see her holding this fucking thing, right? Which I know specifically is a, I think it's sake, right? It's also something that you kind of saw, I believe, Hiroi from Bocchi the Rock had back in like episode 12, I think, or is it episode 11? Because it was like for the final, for like the school festival and all that, and Hiroi was just like, oh, to celebrate, I'm having a glass one, right? So it's like a glass, and there's like a low top that you just pull off as a Kurashiki. She's just like, yeah, I just gotta pull that off, and hopefully no teacher sees me, and she's just like, yeah, this is water that I'm drinking specifically in a fucking glass jar. Alright. Gotta love the final monologue for him as he takes pictures of her and also realizing, you know, how important she is. It feels like the world that surrounds me is rotating so incredibly fast. So to make sure the centrifugal force doesn't end up throwing me off, I cuddle up. I cuddle up nice and tight, right? I cuddle up nice and tight. Very nice, very nice. I also like the other one that he says, you know, I was so desperate to get some sleep a few minutes ago, but now falling asleep almost seems like a waste. Ah! Ah! Oh, so good, so good. Alright, so that was episode 5 of Insomniacs After School. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. You know that I always like talking to you guys. For me, I thought that this was a fucking great episode. It reminded me of 2 series that I very much enjoyed. They're 2 of my favorite games. You know, the first one is Persona 4, albeit it reminds me of the camping trip, which is one of the worst part of the game. But it still reminds me of honestly, anything that's like relating to school will automatically remind me of Persona 4. So like, a lot of things, you know, because Persona 4 is just that sort of slice of life type game, except, you know, you're also out here fighting shadows and all that. Anyways, the second one that reminded me of, as I mentioned in the reaction, is Final Fantasy X, when the both of them are just yelling into the ocean, which is very nice. It's not, you know, the same as like Final Fantasy X, where Titus and Yuna are out here having their own low laugh, you know, but those were the times when Titus was feeling a little down, you know. Well, I mean, he wasn't feeling a little, he was feeling quite down. He had learned some news, but here we have Yuna who goes and help him cheer up, and kind of like in this case with Nakami and Isaki, where Nakami's been going through this continuous inability to go to sleep, and he's just desperate to want to go to sleep so he could have this time to go out at night and take some pictures. But when he goes and he meets with Isaki, that's the first time he gets to smile, and he well, and when they're at the ocean, you know, she's just out here just yelling into the ocean, and it's just kind of like that feeling of you're just releasing all of your emotions. It's not that similar, but it just gave me that sort of vibe, you know, where the both of them are just yelling into the ocean and, you know, eventually just laughing to each other about it. It's very nice. I mean, look, with the situation in Final Fantasy X, even though they're laughing, they're still technically just fucking yelling it out, you know, with them going, ha 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 ha, you know, it's a very forced laugh, which at that point, he's just yelling into it. He's just yelling into the fucking, was it the ocean that they were yelling into? Anyways, great episode. I very much enjoy it. I'm gonna go through some of the minor notes before we go through, not big bombshell, but, you know, the little talk that Nakami and Isaki had with each other. So, the first thing is, well, actually, no, I was gonna say the first thing is Kurashiki-sensei, but I've already talked about her. She's a heavy drinker. Good for her. Actually, not good for her. Anyways, the second one is actually, god damn it, why do I keep talking about Kani? She's such a fucking downer, dude. She's just out here fucking complaining about, like, this is the 21st century. Why do we have to go out and do all this fucking campings? What fun is it to go and sleep outside anyways? And it's just, god, dude, that brings out some sort of fucking rage within me, because it's like, you think that everybody in this fucking class wants to go out and camp? The answer is no, but they're probably at the very least, try to not be a downer and try to actually just have fun for the most part. Because if you're forced to go into something to which, if Kani didn't want to go, you know, she could always just been like, oh man, I've got such a fever today. You know, but there are people who probably just want to at least have a good sort of fucking memory, even though they don't want to be here. But as I said in the reaction, nothing makes me more angry than somebody who is out on a trip and all they ever fucking do, not all they ever, but like, you know, the one thing that they just start off is talking about how this fucking sucks, and like they haven't even, like, it hasn't even started yet and Kani's over here complaining in the fucking bus. Anyways, whatever, you know, after that whole spiel, it kind of looks like she just went along with it, so whatever, right? Whatever, she's just really out here complaining to complain. Moving away from that, the other thing is Nakami's group, which is consisting of Haida and these two other boys who I don't know, but we do see them in the opening, I believe. Here's Nakami, who's just trying to get some sleep. He is desperate for some sleep right now. He's got earplugs in, and he's got a sleeping mask, and Haida just does not understand what personal space is, because he keeps on fucking grabbing his mask and pulling it up. It's just kind of like, bruh, this guy as in Nakami is giving you a pretty obvious message. He's got earplugs in, he's got eye mask on. I think he wants to be left alone, but here's Haida not leaving him alone at all and trying to get him into his shenanigan, despite Nakami just continuously putting his mask back down, right? Haida is not backing down at all. He just continues to bother Nakami throughout the entire bus trip, and he just hasn't gotten a chance to get a good amount of sleep. I assume he probably didn't even get like an hour of sleep. He probably got like maybe 30 minutes at best before Haida woke him up again because the bus trip was finished. But we saw that Nakami was out here doing all the work. He was the one who was setting up the tent while Haida and the boys were out here playing with each other. And by that, I mean Haida was just grabbing pine cones. I'm sorry, I've totally got into this whole spiel of just talking and I forgot to showcase. Here, this scene right here, right? With him just tossing pine cones at them. Like, what in the absolute shit, right? These pine cones, by the way, they're not soft, alright? These are some hard-ass fucking pine cones, dude. If you throw that at somebody, that's gonna cause some fucking bleeding. I was gonna say throw it at somebody's head. There you go. But we've learned a little tidbit, of Haida that he was a baseball boy, but he used to be it, but he quit the baseball club, which I can kind of assume that's why some of the girls are kind of over him and all that, other than, you know, perhaps he's a good-looking boy or whatever. Right? In the next scene that we see him, which is the whole curry spiel, right here with him, here's Nakami who's making the curry by himself, I assume, because, I mean, he's just over here like, oh, I didn't know you had a knack for cooking, and honestly, Nakami's the only one with an apron on, so... And so here we have these two girls, you know, coming on over like, wow, your group's stuff look awesome, Haida. And Haida's just over here like, yeah, that's right. Me and the boys, we're the outdoorsy type. So like, we're really good at this kind of stuff, right? and he just goes and he takes the fucking credits like, yeah, I made this curry. This curry's pretty good. Don't you think, ladies? Maybe you can have a bite, but like just one bite, all right? And then when the girls take a bite, he's like, well, that's a big bite. I actually really like that part where he's like, he's being fucking stingy, but he's also like, come on, ladies, have some curry, but also don't fucking eat the entire thing, all right? I gotta feed me and the boys too. And then at night with with all that, actually I don't really care much about those scenes. With Isaki's friend group, I mean, I think I've already said my piece in the reaction. But here we have the boys out here who were waiting for the girls to come over to their tent, I guess, to, you know, have a little fun and all that. But the girls weren't coming, so they decided that they're gonna come over to the girls instead before they got caught by Hakui, who, as the boys have said, it was just patrolling around their campsite. Around their tent, just because he knows that these boys are up to no good, so he's just like, hey, fuck y'all. And so their next idea was, you know what? We don't need no girls to have fun. So they decided to rage in their own tent, which is just fantastic. You know, Nakami's just out here trying to sleep, but they're making a whole bunch of noise. But by the time they finally fall asleep, all of them are fucking snorers. Snorers, all of them. Which, I haven't mentioned this other one, which this is the other thing that I absolutely fucking hate. Although I think I might hate this a whole lot more than somebody who's being a downer in a trip that everybody has to go to. Right? Oh, dude. Snorers, all of them. Alright? All I'm gonna say is that if you snore and you're sleeping with somebody, I need you to try and fix your problem of snoring, because there are ways to do it. Alright? There are ways to do it. Don't let the people around you have to fucking suffer. That's all I'm going to say, alright? But with all this shenanigans, Nakami has not had any sleep, and he's very desperate to want to go to sleep because he's trying to, you know, get some time to be able to go do his little astrophotography and all that, right? Which I totally forgot to mention, which is in the beginning, with him waking up, and then you see, like, that big eye bag on him. Where is it? There it is, the little fucking, I don't know, it's not eye bags at this point, but, well, I mean, they should be eye bags, or just, like, dark circles. There you go, that's what it is. These little dark circles. And, you know, he opens up the curtains, and he sees that the clouds are still, they're still here. We know in the last episode he was just ready to give up, so I assume that, like, if Isaki, if he doesn't have these words that Isaki has said, you know, let's make a promise, if the weather happens to clear up at night, we'll meet each other on the beach. And so, because of those words, we see him packing up his camera anyways, and I would assume that, you know, if she didn't make that promise, he probably would have just been like, whatever, you know, I'm not gonna take my camera with me, and I'll just suffer through summer camp. But it's nice that here we have these words, and that's why he decided to take the camera, and that's why he's so desperate to want to get some sort of sleep so that he could have some sort of energy for the astrophotography. When the rain started kicking in again, as well as some strong wind, here he is having, God, the fucking boys. The boys, and they're snoring. God awful. But yeah, here he is. He says, I have to sleep. I have to sleep. I have to sleep. Right? And it kind of goes back to what he says in, like, episode 1, you know, where that feeling of, like, what is it? That feeling of either anxiety or just, you know, it kind of kicks over, and, like, it makes you, it's like, you know that you have to sleep and you should be sleeping, and then you're dreading over it, which then makes it harder for you to fall asleep. So as he goes through this struggle of his, right, and then he's thinking about, like, well, even if I go to sleep, I only have 4 hours left anyways, and he's exhausted to the bone, but he doesn't feel sleepy at all. And he thinks, what I assume is what Hakui's words, you know, everyone else sleeps just fine, so the fact that I'm the only one who can't sleep is weird, which is just like, well, I mean, you have to also count in Isaki for that too, but, you know, I knew it. I must be messed up, right? Even though he got mad last episode when he was thinking about Isaki potentially being messed up, but here he is being like, oh no, I'm the one who's messed up. And it's like, my guy, if you're thinking that, then you are inadvertently thinking about Isaki as well, because she's also going through the same problem that you are having. But as he is about to reach a down point in his life, in this summer camp, right, the rain stops, and as he goes out the tent, he sees that the sky has cleared up, and if the sky is cleared up, well, Isaki is gonna be at the beach. So here he goes onto the beach, which is just fun. Very nice, you know, and as I've already mentioned, this is the first time that he smiled, and I've already made my point about this. I really like this part as well, where as he goes to take pictures of the of the sky, the night sky, and he's looking, it's like, considering the amount of light right now, you know, kind of like within the last episode where he feels like, oh, even if I take a picture of this night, the next night might not be the same. And so it's just that feeling of, like, I have to adapt, but at the same time he feels like he's not really getting it. And, with what I was saying about how, like, all of this is just a lot of experience, it's gonna gather, it's a lot of knowledge, you're taking a lot of, he's writing up a knowledge book, a knowledge base, basically. Right? And so here he is using this this knowledge that he has, right? He says, consider the amount of light right now. Hey, can you read the notes I took last Thursday out loud? So, the one from the park. And so she reads it, and, it's the ISO setting and the f-stop and everything, right? So he uses that knowledge of his in order to perhaps find the right setting. We'll just have to see what the picture looks like in the next episode once he checks it out. But perhaps it'll be nice, and we'll see what. Why can't I remember everybody's name for some? We'll have to see what Shiramaru's opinion of it is. But as they try to figure what they need to do for the next 2 hours, because he set it on for like 2 hours, which goddamn, dude. We have Isaki, who suggests that they sleep together, because why the fuck not, And she also mentions that, like, hey, you haven't had any sleep either, right? So want to sleep here together. And I love that, the both of them are very open to each other about their sleep schedule, their sleep issues, and what allows them to sleep well. And so here she says, snuggling up next to you has given me the best sleep that I've ever gotten. And he's just over here like, oh yeah, me too. And I love it. He's just like, yeah, first day when he came to the observatory and they fell asleep to each other, that was the best sleep he's ever had. And this is when we go into a point where he says the last time that he's ever had a good night's rest was when his mom was there. And we know that, or we assume, because we don't really have, like, we just have hints, but we don't have, like, the big reveal just yet. But we would assume that his mom is gone, because we only see his dad currently, and we see that Nakami, despite him making lunch for his dad, he doesn't really have a great relationship with him at the current moment. We know that Nakami still cares for his dad, but it's just kind of like, whatever, dad, you're out here fucking drinking and always fucking eating these pre-packaged food and all that, or whatever. And you're sleeping on the couch, which I kind of have this feeling, this is a wide assumption, again, they're giving us hints, but I was kind of assuming, like, because we've really only been seeing him sleeping on the couch, which is twice only. Maybe we see it again for a third time, I don't know. But his dad who sleeps on the couch, I do kind of wonder if, like, he doesn't like to sleep on the bed. I don't know, because his wife is gone, perhaps. I don't know, just a broad assumption and all that. But yeah, we hear that the last time he's had sleep, a good sleep, was when his mom was around, but now that his mom is not around, perhaps that could be a cause of his insomnia, who knows. But the other one not the other one, but for Isaki, she says that she's fine sleeping in the day, but when it's nighttime, she sometimes get overwhelmed by the anxiety, and the only way that she can relax, or the way that she can feel at ease, is by listening to Nakami's heartbeat. And I kind of wonder if that kind of relates to her being in the hospital, because that's something that she talks before, where she said that she used to be a sick child, and because of that, she tends to stay a long time in the hospital. That's what she said, right? Hold on, let me go look at my notes. I only wrote in my notes for the first episode that Isaki used to be a weak and frail child, which is why she didn't like people worrying about her. But, like, if you are a weak and frail child, that I assume that's also, like, she's also has gone to and also the fact that we've got the fucking opening, right? And we know that she's helped with, like, the kids in the hospital before as well, right? So she has some sort of affinity for kids in the hospital. So I kind of wonder if that's one of the reasons why she can't really sleep well at night, is because she spent a lot of time in the hospital. If I'm getting that one incorrect, let me know. Just correct me on that. But that's how I assume that she gets anxiety because of that, or it kind of correlates to that. And listening to Nakami's heartbeat, I would assume, and how it makes her at ease, I assume it's some sort of noise that she's able to focus on in order to relieve herself of her anxiety. She says to keep herself at ease. It's like a distraction, but also I do wonder if that reminds her of the hospital. You know, with like some of the machines that go slow, you know, that goes into like a little beep, 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 you know, that sort of feel. But I don't know. That one where I'm assuming she could also be associating its heartbeat with like machines of like the hospital. I think that one's a wide assumption, but and it's more understandable if it's something that, you know, it's a noise that she's able to relax herself with. Anyways, getting out of that downer topic, we've got these two deciding that they're going to cuddle up and sleep with each other, you know, which again, I will say, your neck is going to fucking hate you by the end of this. Kids, if you're fucking sleeping like this, if you're having some weird fucking sleeping position, you might need to fix it, because you think that it's all fine and dandy, but the moment you turn 25, you are going to regret all your life's decision. But yeah, they've decided to sleep together in the beach, and they've had a pretty good nap out here. And we'll just have to see what happens there in the next episode, whether we're going to get to see somebody perhaps noticing that these two were just out and about together, or we're just going to skip to just them going back from the summer trip. We'll just have to see. Goddamn, dude, I am absolutely sweating right now. Jesus Christ. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys didn't need to hear that, but yeah, that's what I assume, because as I've mentioned before, I like to see the world's reaction to them. We've got to see a little bit of the world's reaction, and by the world's reaction, I just mean Isaki's friends and Nakami's one friend, and also Haida as well. Oh, Haida was just a weird threat, but also not tattletelling on him, which, whatever. You know, seems like Haida's out here just trying to, in his own weird way, make friends with Nakami. I don't know. He's, again, Nakami has had multiple times during the bus trip to just try and ignore him, and like Haida was just not letting him. He just kept pulling him back in, so I don't know, perhaps he is trying to make friends with Nakami for not for some reason, but again, just because of that feeling of interest and curiosity, you know, because he's supposed to be the honor student, but he's out here chilling at night and all that, so we'll just have to see more of that. It's very nice, very fun, as I said. I really like the monologue that he was talking about as well. I've already mentioned it. I just love the way that it was written, so very, very nice. But alright, if I have anything else to say, I will write it in the description down below. Thank you guys for sticking around, and I will see you guys in the next episode.